Welcome back, viewers. Sri Lanka rolled out the red carpet for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with 6 ministers, including Foreign Minister Vijitha Herat, turning out to receive him at the international airport. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has received a ceremonial guard of honour in Colombo at the Independence Square. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sri Lankan President Kumar Dissanayake have arrived at the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo. India and Sri Lanka are set to unveil measures to bolster the cooperation in the areas ranging from digitalization to energy and defence at a meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Kumar Dissanayake. As New Delhi continues its support for the island nation's economic recovery, other key expected outcomes include an agreement in the linking of electricity grids of the two countries and a tripartite understanding between India, Sri Lanka and the United Arab Emirates to build an energy hub at the Trincomalee. This project is going to dovetail with the plans to build the energy pipeline. This marks his first visit to Sri Lanka since the National People's Power Alliance, led by President Kumar Dissanayake, came to power last year. The 3-day trip is expected to deepen the bilateral cooperation across the areas of defence, energy, health, trade and digital infrastructure. During this visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be carrying forward India's initiative to help Sri Lanka rebuild after the 2022 economic crisis. Now, viewers, let's in fact give some sense of what exactly this meeting and the strategic meeting of India and Sri Lankan world leaders in the defence ties focus on. And when we are talking about how exactly the talks on the defence sector are going to be largely emphasizing on, let us also take some facts in consideration. India is the largest provider of the foreign training assistance to Sri Lanka armed forces, and apart from the projects of connectivity and other fields related to trade and in fact solar power, defense is that one factor where a lot of expectation and a lot of effort is being put in. SLINX, which is the naval exercise, and Mitra, which is the Shakti, the armed exercise, is held every year. These are the focus areas of the defense ties that we are in fact putting in spotlight. Sri Lanka participates in Milan exercise hosted by the Indian Navy. When Indian Navy hosts the Milan exercise, Sri Lanka participates in it. The Maritime Rescue Coordination Center set up for Sri Lankan Navy under the Government of India grant. The grant and the kind of funds that the Government of India has sanctioned for the projects in Sri Lanka, the maritime setup plant was there. Now, in the Dornier aircraft, which has been operated by the Sri Lankan Air Force at the Trincomalee since August 2022. These are some of the facts, viewers, based on how exactly it is going to be very important to focus on the defense sector and enhancing the bilateral ties, specifically boosting the defense sector. All right, now viewers, Major General Dhruv Katoch, who is the director of the India Foundation, is joining me live on the broadcast. Sir, appreciate you joining me live this morning. In fact, as you can see, this visit is being touted as one of the important and one of the most significant points for the relationships between India and Sri Lanka that have been shared in the history as well. And at this point of time, as China continues to grow its influence, several India-backed development projects are also going to be inaugurated after the meeting. What are your expectations of this crucial visit to Sri Lanka, and given the fact Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first foreign dignitary that has been hosted by Kumar Dissanayake since he assumed office?
Thank you, Simran. Simran, I think this is a very significant visit, especially because it relates to two of India's very major initiatives, the Neighbourhood First and the Act East policy. And both of them get merged into this particular visit. That is one point. The second is, when you're looking at the larger strategic picture, what emerges is China's increasing foray into the Indian Ocean. And Sri Lanka happens to be a key player. There are certain initiatives which have been taken by China with respect to Sri Lanka, which have been of concern to India. especially with respect to the Sri Lankan ports. Also, there have been concerns with respect to uh, Chinese naval vessels getting refueling facilities, etc., from Sri Lanka. Now, a lot has changed with the coming in of this government, and of course, with the previous government too. Because prior to that, the relationship between India and Sri Lanka uh, had hit quite a few stumbling blocks. Now, I think what we are looking at is, in a larger sense, we are looking at a reset, especially with the President Dissanayike's government. There were earlier apprehensions that the government being left aligned may not really, we were not really sure what line it will pursue, but that doesn't appear to be the case. The relationship between India and Sri Lanka now, under the present regime, will also continue to strengthen. So I think the key areas which are of concern, I would really look at it from the strategic aspect, is that we need a great deal of cooperation in the maritime domain, and we need to keep certain players out from interfering or from coming into affairs which affect India's security interests. And to that extent, I think Sri Lanka has been sensitized, and the present government too has been sensitized, and I think it'll move forward towards that. It'll move forward correctly on that lines. Secondly, when we are looking at the $4.5 billion aid which was given by India to Sri Lanka, that was the time when India was the only country which came in to help Sri Lanka when they were down and out. And we pulled them out of a very, very severe economic crisis without expecting anything in return. I think all these are very, very positive factors of the present government. And Prime Minister Modi's dealings now with President Dissanayake will further strengthen the relationship which has been established over the last 2 to 3 years. And I think it is a very positive development. Simran.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Major General, at this point of time, as you are very rightly pointing out to the facts of the matter, as all eyes are there also on the defense deal that is going to be in the focus to be brought up today. If signed, the deal is also going to mark up a significant new chapter in India's defense ties with Sri Lanka. And also joining me live on the broadcast is